G'day everybody and welcome to another episode of Automotive Carnage. Today we're going to take a break from the massive project and we're going to work on something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more nuggety, and something that many of you probably didn't even know existed. Yes, hello everyone, my name's DJ and thank you for joining us on this episode of Automotive Carnage, where we've gone and done it again. Yes, we have yet another project, but you know, it's bright, it's yellow, it's sunshine, and what on earth is it, you ask? Well, this is a 1990 Hyundai S Coupe. During the early 90s, late 80s, Hyundai really wanted to change this image from a mundane, boring passenger car based on Mitsubishi parts. So they built this, which is a bright, colourful nugget based on Mitsubishi parts. So not much really changed, except they gave it this awesome sporting body. Now I have to be completely honest with you guys, I've actually owned this car for quite a few months now, but I've been waiting for the right time to share it with you on the channel. What is the right time, you might ask? Well, that's waiting for all the parts to arrive from North America. As you can imagine, Korean cars from the early 90s are not very well revered, and a lot of them were crushed and destroyed during the 2000s. In fact, this one was actually found at a wreckers about to be destroyed. Luckily, my friend posted a picture of it on social media. I'm like, that's an S Coupe, I want it, does it run and drive? And so he put some ether down the barrel, and yes, it kicked into life. So I'm like, done, sold, don't crush it, let me pick it up. Problem being, I live in the desert. So when you live 1,000 k's away from a vehicle you just brought that needs to be picked up the next day, what do? Why, you call your good friend Byron from down the shed with Byron and say, hey dude, I need you to go to this address and go pick up a car for me that I sort of brought. You reckon you could help me out? And like a good champ that he is, he absolutely did. And he's been storing it for me and picking up all the parcels that I have been shipping his way. Now, let's take a quick look around this vehicle and show you what beautiful, well, I mean, beautiful might be a bit of an overstatement, let's be honest. It's covered in cobwebs and it's rusty and it's broke. Oh gosh, I've done it again. Let's go handheld and I'll show you this car. So, what is a Hyundai S Coupe, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you to the best of my ability. The Hyundai S Coupe was the vehicle that was going to take Hyundai from a mundane passenger vehicle manufacturer into a new sportier, more positive light, specifically for the North American market. The Hyundai S Coupe mechanically is based upon the Hyundai Excel X2 chassis, so second generation XL. That in itself was just a Mitsubishi parts bin car. So under the hood of this vehicle, we have the Mitsubishi 4G15 1.5 litre engine making about 62.4 kilowatts according to the brochure, and a 4-speed automatic. This one is a 1990 build, therefore making it a Series 1. There was also a Series 2, which some of you may remember from the Top Gear special, where they had to buy 3 cheap vehicles and get them insured as if they were 17-year-olds.
An S Coupe?
It is a Hyundai S Coupe, 1.5 litre, and I think you'll agree, well, there's only one word for it, coupe.
Scrap.
Richard Hammond having the Hyundai S Coupe with a massively horrible Veilside style body kit. But anyway, this is a Series 1, making it the boxier shape. Now, as for this specific vehicle, it is an LS trim, but it has been fully optioned with every conceivable thing you could get extra on this car. So it's got the two-tone paint, it's got the rear spoiler, it has a sunroof, it has the twin tailpipes, it also has air conditioning and that 4-speed automatic that I mentioned before. So when we picked this vehicle up, it did not run and drive. In fact, it didn't even have wheels on it. So a couple of months ago, Byron and I spent a bit of time. We changed the fuel pump, we changed the fuel filter, we changed the starter motor, put some wheels on it, and we got this thing running and driving at the turn of a key. It's absolutely fantastic, but unfortunately the brakes have had it. The suspension is too high in the air and it's worn out. So today what we're going to do is start with that, and then we've also got a new dash that we can put in because the dash inside this has been cracked, and just give it a general tidy up, which is going to be really cool. And let's try bring this, what I consider to be a rare vehicle in today, back to a nice showroom standard. Oh, what the hell is... No. Mate, I thought we were working on the pacer. Not this pace of Automotive history.
Well, I guess it is automotive history.
I mean, when was the last time you seen an S Coupe?
A few years ago when I was shacking up with the missus.
Well, you kept her around.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's get into it. So, what are we doing on it?
So I kind of went a bit overboard and I brought a bunch of parts from America, which are over there.
I hope you didn't pay too much for this thing.
Should we look at the parts now?
Yeah. Well, what did you get? Looks like heap of suspension there, eh? Is that what I helped you with? Was this for this?
Yes, so over here we have a bunch of brand new parts go into the S Coupe, and some's from North America, some's from right here in Australia. Thanks to Bizer and the boys down at Cannington Petters, we have brand new shocks and springs, which is going to be awesome. They are slightly lower. Now what's interesting is some of this is designed for an E30 BMW. Some of it also fits RX3, so this really is a mixed match of parts.
And we've got to give Nathan from Petters Cannington a massive thumbs up, or dirty thumbs up, for helping us out. I rang him up and he's like, yep, we've got all that brand new. And I was like, well, pickle me grandmother, DJ, we've got it. And DJ's just like, order it, Bizer.
Because I mean, when's the next time you're going to find brand new suspension for an S Coupe? So it was really cool for Nathan to figure out that a lot of these parts were cross-referenced with more popular models. So thanks heaps, dude.
Yeah, boy.
Right, then we've got some eBay specials, we've got some Automotive Super Source specials, we've got brand new disc rotors, brand new master cylinder, wheel bearings, we got drum rotors, just drums. But what's interesting, right, obviously this vehicle is quite a unique and unusual one. I dare say that that drum has been sitting around for quite some time.
She'll be right.
Yeah, but a brake cleaner should be good. Right, so, and then we move on to the stuff we got from America. Now down here, we've got some wonderful new taillights due to the fact that the ones that are in there now are completely cracked. Now I have to give a big shout out to onlinepartsdepot.net in the States. No idea who they were, but got this awesome note in the package as well. They're a fan of the show, so thank you so much, boys. Thank you so much for the little rubber ducky and the Marty McFly. They will be going into this car as well, little mascots. So that's awesome.
What about the exhaust?
The exhaust, now.
The story with that.
The story with the exhaust. So I was in Perth buying another car for a friend, and it just had to be owned by an exhaust shop. And we got talking as you do about different cars. He had some really cool cars himself. And I'm like, well, I've actually got this S Coupe that I'm restoring. Well, going to be restoring. And he's like, an S Coupe? I've got an exhaust for that. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I want to get a customer. He's like, no, I've actually got a brand new exhaust, never been used. It was sitting in his back shed for 20 plus years. And I'm like, are you for real right now? Yes, he was. Absolutely spanking brand new. I think it's a redback system from cat all the way to twin tips. It's a new old stock.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Phoenix, sorry, not a red cat. No, redback. So that was absolutely awesome. So I'm going to whack that in just so we have brand new NOS exhaust system.
Made in Australia.
Oh, made in Australia. That's
They don't do that anymore, do they?
Unfortunately not. We're losing a lot of our manufacturing. And then the other, actually the part that I'm most excited about was this. Bendix brake hardware for the rear drums, brand new old stock from North America. The last one that I could ever find. I didn't know it existed. I paid way too much for it, but more old stuff.
Another beer?
Yep, let's do this. So I reckon, yeah, if we get started on those brakes and suspension, smash those out.
Yep, man.
That'll get done. Oi! What's with the bottle caps? You got enough?
Well, that's how many beers it's taken for you to come back.
Bloody hell, make a mess in your own car. Oh boy, have we made a mess. And but you know, the car itself is looking good. We've got our new Petters shocks in there. We've got our new springs in there. We've got brand new braided lines, brand new disc. It is looking fantastic. We come over this way, and Byron's still working hard on this corner. How you going there, Byron?
Yeah, man. Just got to do the wheel bearings for this one. I've knocked the studs out. So the studs from this drum to that drum now. Had a challenging time getting these flicky thingamajigs on.
Oh yeah, that new NOS hardware kit was pretty strong, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we've got that all back together now. I've thrown the suspension in there. So that should make it sit a little bit lower.
Is going to look fantastic. So you're doing really well. But unfortunately, we've both had a few snags. So yours was the springs.
Yeah, they're just a bit tight.
Just a bit tight, but we've managed to get past that now, which is good. But mine is a little bit more complicated. With our caliper here, we've ended up taking the piston out, and the piston itself is actually pretty pitted. It was seized in place, and it's just not been, you know, the age and the weather has not been kind to it, unfortunately. All the pins, the rubbers, they're all perished, so you can get brand new calipers still for this car. They're relatively cheap, but unfortunately there's only 2 left-hand side ones left in the country, and they're way on the wrong side. Someone's ready to knock off. So unfortunately they're on the wrong side of the country. So what we can do is...
So we've spoken to Brandon from Petters in Cannington, and he helped us out with a heap of parts. So tomorrow morning, we're going to head down there. We're going to get new wheel bearings assembled in those hubs. We've ordered rebuild kits for the calipers. So we're going to pull these apart tonight, borrow their wire brush, and yeah, we'll just rebuild the calipers down at Petters. Got some tie rod ends, some lower ball joints, but the list goes on.
So yeah, again, a huge thanks to Petters and Cannington. At the last minute, they managed to find all of these parts that Byron's talking about, which is absolutely fantastic. So that means more brand new parts are going into this bright banana yellow nugget, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the day, and it's going to be absolutely sick. So we're not going to get down to the pub this afternoon, which is very unfortunate, but we should be able to get this rolling and driving tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, tonight we'll just strip down what we can, get it all ready to take down to the workshop tomorrow, down to Petters, and yeah, we'll finish rebuilding the rear brakes. We've got everything we need for those.
The funny thing was though, Brandon reckons there's more parts for this than Hilux at the moment.
Yeah, it's easier to get parts for this thing than it is a Hilux or a Commodore at the moment, which is, the three of us is just blowing our minds. It's crazy. So yeah, we'll get on to that, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. What you doing?
Just greasing up the bearings again for you.
Again, yeah, rightio. So it's a new day, and we've got a couple more new parts. We've got brand new rebuild kits for the calipers. We have new pistons. There was actually brand new calipers available for this car for the left-hand side, but they were in some outback Victorian town that
couldn't pronounce the name.
Can't even pronounce. I'm not going to try pronounce it. It was
over in Victoria though, wasn't it?
It was in Victoria, yeah, next to, I can't even pronounce the town it was next to. Anyway, so that was kind of amusing. So yeah, unfortunately, my time in the city has come to an end. So I'm leaving Byron to do all the work. You're happy, eh?
Yeah.
So stoked to have this yellow nugget in your garage.
So much fun.
Taking up the space.
Nah, should be right. Well, I've got it all cleaned up. Sat back, had a few bottles of confidence while I was doing it, and waiting for DJ to come back to my place with the parts. So now I can just smash it back together. Except we're missing the ball joints, which my mate Bevo is going to bring up, and then we'll probably end up having another few bottles of confidence, and then hopefully I've got it out of the shed by tomorrow, because I've got to get stuck into some demo derby cars.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you who don't watch Byron's channel, Down the Chute with Byron, he makes a lot of demolition derby cars, and you have a demolition derby coming up on...
Yeah, next month.
Next month, November?
19th of November.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome. Unfortunately, I can't make that one, so I have to wait till next year. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
You're going to have a crack at building one, eh?
I'm going to crack a building one. So I've been watching what Byron's been doing with his ones, and I've found a vehicle in the bush, surprise, surprise, and I think it's going to be a good candidate for a demolition derby car. So that's going to be it. Don't worry, it's not a classic Holden or Ford Falcon or anything. It's a piece of crap Japanese car.
It's two-door, isn't it?
I think it starts with M too.
And it's got a GT on it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's all for me on this one. But keep watching, because he's going to take over.
Yeah, I'll try and smash out some video to add to DJ's video. That's it.
Let's roll that now.
Okay.
Hopefully you made something.
Well, welcome back. DJ's left me with the S Coupe to sort out the rest of the work for him. So last night I got stuck into the passenger side and finished off all that left-hand side, got it all sorted and back together. So now I've worked out all that side and how it all goes back together, because obviously DJ left it in pieces for me. I'm going to reassemble the right-hand side and share some tips with you guys that might help you out with some of your jobs you're doing in the shed. So while DJ was off gallivanting around town doing what he had to do, I was back here sorting out the parts, cleaning them up, ready to go. With the wheel bearings is what I started with, the outer race. What I like to do, if I haven't done this job before, is I'll get the old outer race of the bearing and I'll cut a groove into it. Then that way, when you're installing the new ones, so obviously you fit the new one, then you put the one you've cut on top of it, grab your hammer and slightly tap it into place. Then you can put your installing tool or your punch on top of that and then send it home. And the good thing with that is that you can pull the old one back out because it's not under tension. So that's a cool little tool you can use, or an idea for installing bearings. Now with the wheel bearings all greased up and plenty of penetration of the grease through those rollers, reinstall the bearings. And a little trick I'd like to show you is with installing the wheel seals, is you can't always just smash the outside with the hammer. So what I do is I save the old seals and I place that over the top of it. Then you can use that just to get it started and tapped into position. There we go, the hub assembly is all back together with the front strut. I'm going to get stuck into the brake caliper now, rebuilding that. There's not too much to rebuilding a caliper. Just make sure your caliper's cleaned out so there's nothing for that piston to catch on. We're running new pistons. Your seal kit, you basically got a D-ring that holds the hydraulic pressure against the back of the piston and inside the caliper there. You got a dust seal and a couple other dust boots and a bit of lube. There's a little trick I'd like to share with you for that dust cover. When installing the inner seal, I like to use a bit of Bosch or blue sort of rubber grease. It's a lot more slipperier, and for internal brake sections, I reckon it's ideal compared to that red rubber grease. The red rubber grease still works, but I find it too sticky. Now here comes the simple / a little bit tricky part. So obviously that's the brake piston, your dust cover seal. Now there's a little lip here that it sits in, and then again I've lubed it all up. You can see another little groove here hopefully, and that's meant to live just inside that part of the caliper. So to get that in can be tricky sometimes. So what you can do, slide that down the piston so that bit there sort of hangs over. Now you're either going to get it the first shot or a couple of shots into it, and because I'm videoing it probably won't go in. So here we go. So you try and get it and push it in prior to putting the piston down and in. Hopefully that's located. Now we'll push the piston down. Never know, that might have located hopefully. And most of the time, you just want it evenly in there, and I don't think I got it. So after the second attempt, I got it. It's all nice and even now. It's always, when you're trying to do it on camera, it doesn't work the first time. But that's good to go. I'll just lube up these slides, reinstall the rubbers, and we'll put the brakes back on. Well, with all that done now, it's time to pop the bonnet and top up the brake fluid. All right, here we go. Ah, he's already done the engine conversion. Hyundai 2 litre. That should go right now, boy. Well, there we go, mate. She's all back on all four. While I was bleeding the brakes, I think you forgot to tell me something there, mate. Yes, that's right. You started undoing that master cylinder and left the fitting loose. Don't worry, I worked it out. So after I worked that out, we got most of the brakes all bled up. That back right-hand side, just there must be a blockage in that pipeline. We'll sort it out later for you, mate. Otherwise, take it easy, everyone, and back to you, DJ.
Here we go, folks. We are back down with the magnificent Byron, and I have to say a huge thank you to finishing off all of the work that I wasn't here to do for you.
It wasn't too bad. Just plotting along.
Yeah, how'd you go working on the little vehicle? Did you find it enjoyable, or how was she?
The only problem was I was drinking beers on my own.
You were drinking beers while working on my brakes.
Yep, and
that sounds really safe.
You'll be right. Safe as houses.
I don't want safe as houses, I want safe as cars.
Nah, it should be right. Yeah, I went through, tried bleeding up the system. I think I mentioned it earlier. That back right-hand side was a bit of a drama. We'll sort that out later.
So yes.
If anyone's interested in the video later.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say for the record, it wasn't me who undid the nut on the master cylinder.
Yeah, but I got to get a carton out of him somehow.
Somehow. So yeah, as Byron says, if anyone does enjoy this awesome little nugget of a car, enjoy watching us working on it, then be sure to leave a comment, leave a like, and if there's enough of it, we might revisit, because we still have to do the dash, that's still cracked. We have to fix the driver's side window, and a few other little cosmetic. What?
There's only a couple of things.
Just a couple.
Are you sure?
One or two. You know, like the
rust
in the roof.
Sorry, bro. Keep going.
You know, the rust in the roof, the cracked dash, the window that doesn't work properly, the rims that need to be cleaned up, because you didn't do that properly.
All right, mate.
So yeah, that is all from us today. I think the only thing left to do now is to take this little nugget down the road.
Let's take it for a spin, eh?
Let's go.
You're driving.
No, I'm driving. You're on that side. Let's go. Well, let's go race that little X-Trail. Well, mate, move your legs over, would you? She's a bit tight in here. Give her a few revs.
A couple of herbs.
There we go. All right.
Off we go.
Into the sunset. See you later, folks.